most of us never dreamed of being a telemarketer or working in the local retail store or anything. We all had big dreams. We wanted to be the fireman, the police chief. We wanted to be astronauts. We wanted to be lawyers and doctors and things like that. Things that don't put boundaries on our lives. Things that are the best in the world to aspire to. But somewhere along the line, our lives were shaped into what was expected of us instead of what we dreamed of. So, that goes all the way down into the things that we do, the places that we go, the people that we see, and the things that we accept, because there's a lot of hidden fears that are instilled in us. Don't eat the red sauce from a woman if she's from the West Indies because, you might catch something from her and she might be able to control your mind, things like that. Or, you can't eat cow foot soup because it's a cow's foot. And we don't, as Americans, eat cow foot soup because it's a cow's foot. But you don't understand that there's something behind it. There's always a method behind the madness. There's always something going on. And if you take the time out to go out and venture into the other areas of people who might eat cow foot soup or chicken foot soup or fish head soup, you might learn something from them. You might be able to say, okay, well, I can see why you do it. I'm still, kind of, not going to eat it, but at least now I know why or what it offers me. And if the day should ever come that I have no choice, at least I can go into it with an educated expectation. You see what I'm saying? So let's kind of play around with the ideas. Have you ever thought of going to somewhere like Tokyo, Japan, and seeing how their metropolitan city works? And how it is very different from our metropolitan cities, say a Dallas, Texas, or a Chicago, Illinois, or a New York City, or an Atlanta, Georgia. How does it differ? How does each of those cities differ from each other? What do they have to offer? Because if you're going to Tokyo, Japan, of course, you're going to have a different language. Of course. You're going to have different cultures. Of course. You're going to have different foods. You're going to have different everything because the music is going to be different. But then you'll find that there are a lot of similarities in it. And then the food's going to be different, of course. And you're going to find that there's a lot of similarities in it. You're going to see things differently. You're going to see things from outside the fishbowl instead of being inside the fishbowl. You see what I'm saying? So you're going to be able to experience a culture that is so vastly different from ours, but also so much like ours. So have you ever thought about going to Turks and Caicos? How many of you have gone to Turks and Caicos? How many of you have seen Big Ben out in England? How many of you have seen, the big statue of Jesus in Buenos Aires? How many of you have ever wanted to go and see that? How many of you ever wanted to go and experience Carnival or anything like that? These are questions that you need to start asking yourselves because life is kind of short. We might think that we're in this for the long haul, but you know what? The long haul is not that long, especially nowadays, because, we're losing people left and right, and it's become a norm. It's become something that we're not even shocked about anymore. So my suggestion to you is to take in life for all it's worth and live it to the most that you can, because you never know. You can go to the Bahamas, which is right across the water from us, is one of our neighbors. You can go deep sea diving and see what's underneath the water. I mean, the ocean is so beautiful. The fish, the coral, all of those things are so beautiful. And again, it's just like being in the mountains. It takes your breath away and it stops time just long enough for you to enjoy the moment. Okay, how many people ever thought about deep sea diving or parasailing or cliff diving? Heck, I've done cliff diving and I loved it, every minute of it. And I recommend, if you ever have the opportunity to do it, just do it. Just like Nike, just do it. Because it's an experience that you can't describe. You absolutely cannot describe. Because when I jumped off that cliff, there was nothing between me and that water except space. And in that space, that when I was traveling through that space down into that water, it was so beautiful and quiet and serene. It was like I was having an out of body experience almost, because it was just so peaceful and I was at such peace. And when I hit the water, there was no fear. I just went in and came right back up and was ready to do it again. It's a beautiful experience. How many people have actually gone skiing, not to a ski resort, and sat up with your legs up in front of the fireplace and roasted marshmallows? I'm talking about actually put the skis on and went down the hill. How many of you have done that? How many of you want to do that? How many people are kind of saying, yeah, it looks like fun, but it's not for me because I might hit a tree, like Sonny did from Sonny and Cher? You know what? That's okay. I understand. Everyone has fears. But are you going to allow your fears to stunt your growth? Are you going to allow your fears to stop you from experiencing the world? Because there's so much in this world that you can experience and take away and just put it right back out into other people. You know, that is something that is a wonderful thing. That is something that is actually a gift. And we're squandering the gifts by only going to the local juke joint, as we called it back in the day, you know, as our grandparents called it, or the local club or the local bar, and saying that that's a wonderful life. Yeah, you can ball out in a strip club in Atlanta. You know, you could do that. But how about you take that same money you dropping on that ground for them ladies and go take a trip? Go somewhere and see something different. Go somewhere and experience something outside of your world, because this world is so much bigger than your world. So I would suggest again, and I'm going to pose that challenge again, in the next 6 months, do something different. 6 different things. Experience something different for the next 6 months, no matter what it is. If it's going out to the local country music bar and experiencing how they do what they do. Because guess what? They do line dances just like we do line dances. And you'll be surprised. Some of them line dances are kind of fun, because I've done them and I've learned them and I've enjoyed them. And I've learned that going into a country bar does not mean that you're going to stand out. What that means is you're going to open up a door that says, welcome, I accept you. And they will accept you as well. Now, I'm not going to tell you that there's no prejudice in the world. I'm not going to tell you that there's no hatred in the world, because there is. No matter what country you go to, no matter what culture you're a part of, no matter what or where you are, what you do, where you are, there's always going to be some type of foolishness. But the difference is the way you look at it. If you take a little bit of foolishness and put it into a lot of beautiful, you only have a lot of beautiful, because the foolishness is now outweighed by the beautiful. So why not go out there and find that beautiful, you know, and experience it and enjoy it and make it a part of you, because that is what life is about. And doing the traveling is great, because you can start small, like a pebble in an ocean, and it ripples out. If you are from New Mexico, well, what's the next state over from you? Go over there for the weekend and just go out there, figure out what's out there and go experience it. If you're in California, good God, there's so much in California to do. I mean, I've been in a hotel in Hollywood, swimming on the rooftop of the Holiday Inn on Hollywood and Vine, and I'm watching it snow off in the mountains in the distance. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, because that's like the craziest anomaly, to be warm enough for you to swim outside, but then you can look over at the mountains and you can see the snow on the mountains. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. These are things that you need to experience. And it's not about low budgeting either, because you can ride out, ball out in a 3 to 5 star hotel. Well, heck, there's a 7-star hotel in Dubai. A lot of people don't even understand what a 7-star hotel is. A 7-star hotel, which is in Dubai, the only 7-star hotel in the entire world, you actually get a menu for what you want your pillows and sheets to smell like. You can go golfing at the top of the hotel, which overlooks the entire skyline of the country, Okay. I mean, rather of the city, excuse me. And then you can go and eat in the restaurant that's underwater, where the windows, you're actually looking at the underwater life just going right by you. You can see all of that. And that's a 7-star hotel in Dubai. And Dubai happens to be one of the top places that most people in the world are trying to go and experience at least once in their lives. Once. And it's an experience like no other. Have you ever heard of snowboarding? How about sandboarding? They actually will put a snowboard on your feet and let you sandboard down those dunes. Okay. It is beautiful. You go on camel rides. You can do all of the stuff that you see in the movies where they sit down and they have the nice big meal and the belly dancers come out and they're dancing for you. It's an entire culture that is so beautiful and rich. It is amazing. And the things that you can do there is even better, because we look at things as Americans, especially as working class Americans, and say, but how much does it cost? What is it worth? Okay. But at the same time, we're willing to go and spend $40, $50, maybe $100 a week eating out or buying things that are ridiculous, like overpriced pocketbooks, shoes, and sneakers. Okay. How much do you pay for Jordans? The newest Jordans? I don't know, because I don't buy them. I mean, I come from a different culture where we're not into the labels like that. Okay. Do I like the stuff? Yeah, sure. But I'm not one of those people that got to go out and get the newest and the latest at all times. I'm good with just doing me. Okay. But you spend $300, $400, $500 on a pair of sneakers. They have no value once you put them on and walked out the house. You can't get your money back from those sneakers. You might get a little bit of money back, because I do know some kids that go out and spend all that money buying them sneakers, wear them a couple of times, and then sell them out again. But when they sell them, they're only getting a percentage of what they spent, which means they're still in the negative. But because they believe that they're getting some type of a return investment on it, you're really not. You're really not. But if you take that same $400 or $500 and bank it and take a weekend trip, a weekend getaway, heck, take a week off and go somewhere and experience something. That's something that you always will have a takeaway from. Always, for the rest of your life, you will always remember how you felt right there. You will always remember what that experience was, because it now becomes a part of you. And it's something that you can benefit from, because now you can take that and put it into your everyday world and say, yes, I've experienced that. So now I know how to attack the next situation. I know how to go into the world and just spread it just a little bit. So we don't want to let fear or finances get in the way of our lives, because we can make a lot out of a little. How many of you single mothers out there fighting to take care of your kids? But you know what? Come Christmas, they got stuff up under that tree. Come hell or high water, they got stuff up underneath that tree. If you take that same determination and put it into yourself, the sky's the limit. The sky is the limit. And something that I learned from just watching my dad and my mom, I learned, my dad was a businessman. He 8th grade education, but he was a millionaire back in the 60s, when people never heard of a man of color, even a little bit of color as my dad had, a man of color having that kind of bank. Okay, so he taught me to work for everything that I have. And his one thing that he told me that I've always kept with me, and I've taught my children and my nieces and nephews, if you have something that you love, get a job, learn how to do it, master it, and make it a business. You don't need to be out there hustling for a $200,000 bill to say that you went to school and now you got this little degree that you can't turn into money because you can't find a job in your field. What you can do is, in the now, find a way to make it work for you. And that is what I've done. I've taken $300 and turned it into a thriving business. Then turned around and